Senator Cormier.
Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I stand to take the floor on the time allocation motion. I am not speaking while thinking about the government or about the government leader, government representative, or the leader of the opposition, or to prove to anyone in this chamber that I am an independent senator. I spent part of my life defending my identity, and it won't be in this chamber that any identity will be imposed upon me. When I think of citizens from my province and of Canada, I know I have much more important work to do. I think of the artists and those in the cultural sector who have a great vision of the world, humanity, and who contribute to the economic development of our country and the showcasing of our culture around the world. I think of the modernization of the Senate. This makes all the more sense when we see the situation this evening, and I thank everyone this evening participating constructively in debate. I'm speaking as a senator from the arts and culture sector, but above all, as a member of the Transport and Communication Committee who was in the front row of the study of Bill C-11. As was already said, this committee heard 130 witnesses, held dozens of meetings, and held 77 hours of sittings. We heard testimony from content creators, from broadcasting experts, from scholars, from the former director of the CRTC, from representatives from the arts, culture, musical, and audiovisual sectors, representatives from communities of Indigenous, Black, and racialized Canadians, and from those from minority groups. A massive task was completed by this committee, and I was impressed by the work of committee members and the expertise around the table, the diversity of points of view, the relevance of questions, the value of amendments. I thank all committee members for their remarkable work. During the committee study, my team and myself received numerous calls and correspondence from concerned artists across different sectors, also from Francophone as well as Anglophone sectors, and all of them asked us that C-11 be quickly adopted. We also saw many opinions from the cultural sector on C-11, and we've heard from elected members their opinions on this piece of legislation. We heard, in an acrimonious climate, we salute the courage of elected members who have been supporting the cultural sector and contribute to the integrity of our sector. We also heard a testimony during which parliamentarians participated in a rigorous study of this bill, and we worked to help C-11 progress as quickly as possible towards royal assent. A recent Globe and Mail article says that C-11 is probably the bill that has been studied for the longest time in the Senate. And this is a bill that acutely affects all those in the arts and culture sector. These Canadians have been waiting on this bill for far too long. For every week when C-11 is not yet adopted, this is one fewer week for the CRTC to carry out its consultations amongst stakeholders. After those consultations, the mechanisms that will allow for contributions to Canadian content and its discoverability will be able to be enforced. And then finally, the cultural sector will be able to benefit from this bill. Colleagues, Canadian culture is at the heart of who I am. Acadian culture and music allowed me to earn my living and have allowed me to stand before you today. They made me become who I am, and they also founded the people I belong to, the Acadian people. This bill is the fruit of a deep consultation among experts. And I would like to quote one of the Acadian experts. The musical industry has completely transformed, and there's a nosedive in revenues because of online platforms. Many producers in the minority Francophone musical sector show that income must be more equitably shared among stakeholders in the musical industry. This shows that Bill C-11 is essential in the development of our cultural industries. And in my opinion, the bill is supported by very solid arguments. I believed that 6 hours was not sufficient to debate this bill, and I would like to highlight that while creating anything, there is a time when we want to go deeper. But at the same time, when we think of those Canadians waiting on this bill, I also believe it is now time to adopt Bill C-11. Thank you very much.